Hello, hello, is this thing on? Hello, hello? Okay, it's on. I'm just fucking with you guys. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome, Maddie. Welcome in. Welcome, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? So, quick, should I ask ChatGPT why I call me a strange duck? Of course you should. Why are you even questioning that? You 100% should ask ChatGPT every question you have. That way it'll gather more training data on you. You know, that's like the Sam Altman's eventual plan. He's gonna gain all of your data so that he can train AGI. That's how it works, by the way. Oh, I guess I could show you guys. Quack. Is it because you? I don't know. Maybe the caller's like, you're a duck. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know. Maybe you just like, I don't know. Maybe you Full Metal Alchemisted yourself to hybridize with a duck to make that fucking what a chimera, whatever the hell thing. Fuck if I know, man. When I saw like that scene on FMAB Brotherhood, or sorry, FMAB, God, that shit was terrifying. Holy, I was so sad. That was so sad. Well, yeah, no shit, he was being an ass. It's kind of obvious. You just need to know, like, why is he calling you a duck? Not what's the reason, you know? Like, what was the thought of calling you a quack duck? You know what I'm saying? Okay, anyways. Let me open up my iPad player while this is going, but I hope everyone's had a great week. I've been kind of inactive for the past couple of weeks because I've had way too much shit to deal with in real life, and it's just been nothing but crazy emails everywhere, studying as well. It's like, my man, it's like I'm one person. I'm trying to fucking juggle 50 things. Are things better? Sort of, you know. Today I got like 50 pounds of new information dropped on me, so that's great, but that's the best part. Like, I'm planning for next year, which is the even better thing, right? You see, in medical school, I don't know if this is a thing in other schools, other graduate programs, you gotta basically prep for your next year midway through your current year. So it's like, I'm doing all the studying. I'm studying for my big exams that are coming up in quite a few months. And I'm also studying for my current rotations. Like, it's just back and forth. And the next thing you know, I got more of this bullshit dumped on me. So it's like, so if you don't see me streaming some weeks, then that's probably why. I'm just fucking swamped with work. That's all. I'll listen, I'll try and stream as much as I can because I stream once a week. Not a demanding schedule whatsoever. And I know you guys like it. I like it. It's a great distraction for me. Allows me to just vent and talk to you guys and actually chill. So I'm very, very happy to always be talking with you guys. But yeah, it gets very, very fucking cooked for me as the days go on. So yeah. All right. Let me just get my iPad set up. But tell me, how are you guys doing? What's been going on in the past week for y'all? I don't know. Like, as you know, I don't really make too much conversation. I just like chilling. You know, cool stuff. Okay, there we go. Oh, jeez. I have all my notes open. Oh, wait, don't do that. Close those. There we go. I was studying like a fucking madman for the past week, so it's like, I have so much shit open. Alright, here we go. Let me move all my shit around. Oh, Lord. Okay, nice and arranged for me. Yeah, so like, the reason why today's topic came about was because I wanted free content. Oh, okay, that's... Ignore all of these. This was me frantically figuring out what to do for my exam. Oh, gosh. If you want to know what those are, I could definitely tell you. It's just that they're not as interesting as what I'm going to talk about today, but... It was basically just stuff for my school. Yeah. Bunch of points. Those are the intestines. Yeah, anyway, I don't know why... They're in my AI notes book is secretly in my fucking scrap notebook for just whatever. But yeah, so just set that up, and then we need to set up the Twitter window. As you guys know, right? My streams are totally prepared every single time we use them. That's the best part. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Here we go. Boop. And doop. Sweet. Okay. Alright. Perfect. Everything is nice and captured. Okay. Oh my gosh. Also pretty fucking tired today. Like, I made the stupid mistake of taking my like 4-hour test and then going to the gym right after, even though I probably shouldn't have because I had like something to do at the afternoon and just took up my time. I was like, bruh, fuck my life. But yeah, okay. So let's talk about today's topic. I kind of ignited sort of a mini firestorm on Twitter because there's a lot of things I want to unpack today and just discuss. It'll probably make some people mad, but I just want to put out information that, you know, is more or less accurate compared to what you'll see online, because there's a lot of misinformation online about this topic, and it's really fucking grinding my gears at times as to how I'll explain it. But let's talk about AI, the taboo word, and knowledge. Right, knowledge. And that's a big question. What the fuck is knowledge? Right? I mean, we always say, oh, there's new knowledge coming out every year of certain things, but what even is it? Right? Knowledge and you could you could tell me your opinion, right? But knowledge, in my opinion, is just any new fact that contributes to the growth of the collective human race, basically. Right? Any fact, any concept, something in the realm of that, in that imagination, right? That allows the human race to grow and prosper based on these types of facts that, you know, people unearth. Now, knowledge, for what I understand, a lot of people think that new knowledge gets dreamed up, but I feel like the more and more you go into fields like academia, you start to see that knowledge isn't exactly what all it's cracked up to be, right? Because there's two types of knowledge, right? There's existing and there's new knowledge. So existing knowledge, kind of straightforward, it's in textbooks. It's in journals. It's in the internet, for example. Ew, academia. I was gonna get to that, but yes, I dislike academia as well for a lot of reasons. Then the new knowledge is something that's synthesized, and I'm gonna put that in quotes here because it's not really synthesized. That's what a lot of people like to perceive knowledge as, but I'm not here to like talk down or anything. I'm just saying, like, a lot of knowledge nowadays comes from existing knowledge. So let's think about it this way, okay? And I'm gonna be using a lot of medical analogies here because medical student, so I know a lot of things in that field, or tech analogies just because it's more relevant to my fields. But let's say we have a drug, right? We have this drug, and this is pretty common in most medical and most pharmacological and medical uses. So we have a drug and it's meant for something. So I think a good example is Ozempic. Right? You guys know what Ozempic does now, but Ozempic was originally made to control type 2 diabetes. Right? That was what it was originally made for. But over time, Ozempic, you know, was found out to be more of a weight loss drug. So that led people and scientists to study what the GLP-1 receptor does. And turns out they found oh great, we got an ad break. All right. Turns out they found a correlation between GLP-1 and weight loss, which caused, you know, the off-label use. And once the ad is over, I'd assume we'll be able to continue, because fuck you, Twitch. For those of you on YouTube and Twitter, you guys don't got ads. I do on Twitch, unfortunately, so I'm very sorry. But yeah. All right. I'll re-say this, by the way, because the ad break kind of interrupted my flow. Oh man, but yes. Oh yeah, Maddie, I don't know if you knew this. You totally didn't, but yes, I am a medical student. Did you not know from the rant that I did in the beginning? The small, you know, I'm so exhausted, I'm studying, I'm doing rotations, oh boo-hoo, woe is me. Oh my god. Don't worry, I have this little breakdown every day, it's all good. Oh my god. Now, what's a doctor? Oh shit. I don't know if you'll make it, mate. I don't know if you'll make it. I'm sorry, bro. Oh, yeah. I mean, actually, I'll probably talk about this after we finish today's topics, but I did finish my emergency med rotations. That was so much fun. I genuinely enjoyed being in EM. Like, my specific EM. It was really, really fun. Enjoyable. Everyone was nice. I feel like I was really part of the team as well. Everybody relied on me and stuff. So it was really fun and interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna miss that place for sure. It's gonna be, it definitely holds a special place in my heart as to how nice that place was. Anyways, so we were on the topic of how new knowledge is created. So I'm gonna say this again, but we're gonna talk about the Ozempic drug. So we have Ozempic, and initially, Ozempic was used for treating adult diabetes. So type 2 diabetes mellitus, right? Usually insulin resistance. So you're trying to make it so insulin can go into the cells and not be resisted. So the GLP-1 receptor works in various ways and basically allows for reabsorption of insulin. That's what you need to grab out of it. But in addition, it was also found that Ozempic's trendy use today is weight loss. And scientists found that there is a correlation between weight loss and GLP-1. Back in last year, nobody knew this, right? So this could be considered as new knowledge. And that's where the crux of it comes into play, right? We have this already established concept, and we just had to look just a little bit deeper for a possible off-label use, which got us the new knowledge, right? So I find that to be really interesting as to how most knowledge nowadays simply just comes from previous knowledge, yet we as humans didn't really look into it. Now, there's two things when it comes to knowledge in general. You know, I think if you've ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David, he talks about like being the idea guy, right? Or maybe it was Seinfeld, I don't remember, but the idea guy, right? You come up with all these ideas. There's so many ideas. You got so many things popping up in your head, but who's going to implement them, right? Who's going to push it out to the public as to, oh my God, here's an idea that actually exists? Well, of course, knowledge needs some sort of validation. And validation is usually done in the form of studies. And this will be loose, right? It could be like a double-blind study, or it could just be a cohort study. All that shit. I'm talking about public health here. That's stuff I don't really care about. But yeah, so a lot of studies, a lot of experiments, also proofs. Those are things that are used to validate the initial knowledge that came out. In the medical field, validation is primarily through research studies. And in fact, research studies aren't even enough. It actually goes into peer review, where a bunch of different professionals, they review what you published, what your paper is. Sorry, not published, what your paper is, and they essentially talk through it, see if it makes sense or not, etc., etc. And it's not even that. You go through a review board, and then eventually you get to publication, right? So once you get to publication, your knowledge is in the human ledger, whether it be PubMed, JAMA, any of those scientific medicine journals. Once you're published, it's basically in the record as a research article, right? Obviously, these can be contested, these can be redacted, all of that stuff. But this is the basic way of how knowledge is spread across academia, right? Now, there's also street smarts, right? Where knowledge is spread between word of mouth and how well you are in the street. I mainly know the book smart stuff, because that's me. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to disseminate knowledge around the world. Now, here's where AI comes into play. And I'm actually going to show... no, let me just talk about AI for a second. Because as you know, AI is such a loose term nowadays. We're going to specifically be talking about LLMs. And as you know, LLMs, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know I very well work with them. I've been working with them for years. And they're called large language models. So large language models. Right? And these are pretty fucking cool things. They are gigantic algorithms that have been trained on certain sets of data and can basically be used to create new sentences, new words, new sentences, and basically have an illusion of talking with the user, right? That's what an LLM is. And it is essentially a word predictor, right? That is what a neural network is. And this falls into the category of Gen AI. All right. Now, here's where the debate really came into play. And this was from, actually, let me go on Twitter and find this. From Mr. Jensen Huang. If you guys don't remember, I talked about the Joe Rogan podcast that Mr. Huang went on. Jensen AI knowledge. This is honestly probably the most interesting thing. Let's see. Jensen AI knowledge, Joe Rogan. I can't find the... Oh, here we go. Nope, that's not it. Where the fuck is the clip, man? All right, fine. I'll find it. He basically said, like, 99% of AI... Or, sorry, 90% of knowledge in the next 3 years is going to be created by AI. Personally, I don't know about that, right? Like... but some people had some really stupid fucking takes. Here we go, found it. All right, I muted this account because this account's really fucking annoying, but let me show you guys. So, CEO of NVIDIA, in the future, maybe 2 or 3 years, 90% of the world's knowledge will likely be generated by AI. Oh, God. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that statement? Because I'd love to know. I genuinely love to know what you guys think. Because I know it's definitely a divisive topic when talking about how far AI can go. Especially in this sense. No thoughts by Brandis Bush? Okay, fair enough. But yeah. Okay, and then so, let's first stick with this topic here, right? Before we go on to this fucking dumbass who somehow gained a bunch of popularity. As long as it isn't art, I have no comment. Okay, fair. So, knowledge being generated by AI. And I'll talk about this more in depth in a bit. It is a thing, right? It is a thing. But going so high as to say 90% will be generated in the next 2 to 3 years is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard. Like, seriously. How in the ever-loving hell is knowledge gonna be generated? There's gonna be more knowledge by AI compared to the entire compendium of humans. That I don't understand whatsoever. So let's go back to this idiot's take. So as a reminder, AI cannot generate knowledge. It cannot create knowledge. It cannot find new information. It can only mix information that has already been found and written and input into computers by humans. Now on the surface, I read this and I'm like, okay, that's a fair take. Then I reread it. I'm like, hold on a second. This doesn't make much sense. Because I don't know, this was just my opinion. But even though it sounds very factual, very intellectual, it doesn't make sense when you look into it, considering that when we talk about AI generating knowledge, are we assuming that all of the knowledge is correct? I'll talk about that because there are examples and how to get to those examples, right? But yeah, this statement kind of threw me off a bit. So I obviously made a reply, but I'll show you that reply in a sec. But let's talk about this. All right, so AI cannot generate knowledge is the thing here. It can only create knowledge. It cannot find new information. It can mix information that's already been found and written and input into computers by humans. Okay, so let's explain what the architecture of an LLM is. Right, so LLMs are primarily trained on data. Right? They are trained on data. And that's like the foundation of their training. That's their overall the overall aspect of LLMs itself is data from humans amassed into workable numbers and vectors, a bunch of embeddings that are stored into those models' weights. All right. And there is a technique that is primarily used to actually train a model. I'll show you guys what it is, and I'll show you guys a video that's actually good for it. Here we go.
Efficiency, we're gonna do it.
Okay, so I was watching this video as well, but I feel like it's a little too much for the context of the stream, so I'm just gonna break it down just a little bit. But the technique that LLMs use is called backpropagation. Basically, you know, training the data, taking the data, putting it in the model, and storing it there. That's just the simplest way of explaining it, right? as simple as possible. So that's what backpropagation is as the training method. If you guys want to know how LLMs and stuff actually work, I recommend at least watching 3 Blue 1 Brown. He is probably one of the best people to explain how LLMs work and the transformer model works in the simplest way possible. I generally recommend the watch. I watched it and it gave me so much information. But with that in mind, so we talk about backprop, all right? Now, what the problem is, we have the trained LLM. People are gonna assume it's just outputting its trained data. Now, while that is somewhat true, there's a reason why generative AI is called generative AI. It's not outputting just its trained data. It's outputting trained data, and it's using that as a base to create a spontaneous generation. So it's using its background to figure out where to go next, and then to create a generation out of it, right? That's what LLMs are really doing. It's not just selecting stuff from the data set. In fact, that doesn't even make any sense considering that the data set is just a bunch of numbers at the end of the day. It's trying to select the best neighbor to pick in order to get the best prediction. Again, an LLM is not a sentient being. We don't have Skynet right now. That's kind of fucking obvious at this point. Despite how much you might love your AI boyfriend Henry, LLMs are not sentient beings. There's no way in hell we're getting there in God knows how many years. Even though the big people at Silicon Valley, they all say, oh my God, we're gonna have AGI in the next 2 years, right? Let's be real. This is what I think when I fucking see people saying that. It's not happening. That is not happening in any way, shape, or form. But it is important to understand that we are getting generations from LLMs, and they are spontaneous. They may or may not be based on the training data. There's a lot of shit that's shoved into a model. All right, so I just want to push that forward. Now, when Maddie says here, when we talk about AI generating knowledge, are we assuming that all of the knowledge is correct? The answer is no. And the reason why I say no is because of the previous thing I said before, which is validation. Remember, humans do the same shit, right? Humans do the exact same thing. They're idea guys, right? We are idea people. We create ideas and we put them out to the world and see if they work. So validation is a very, very important step. And this is a step that AI cannot do, right? So AI can generate hypotheses. It can figure things out, but AI cannot validate that those hypotheses are correct. It can't run a research study by itself because A, it has no means to, it's a fucking algorithm, and B, it's like you need more than one thing to figure out what to do next, right? Next thing you know, some big tech bro is gonna say, oh my God, here's your research study completely generated by AI. AKA the biggest load of snake oil bullshit that I've ever seen in my life. You see, I might agree with the fact that AI knowledge makes sense, but I'm not that crazy, you know? So yes, AI cannot validate that that knowledge is correct. Okay? So now, since we're talking about AI trading, AI learning, all of that stuff, let's draw a few parallels here. Let's talk about human memory and learning. Right? Human memory and learning is probably one of the most interesting parts of the human brain because even we don't know how it works, right? Memory is still a deeply studied field, and we only know the surface level of understanding human memories and how we actually store them. How do we remember who we are? How do we remember what stuff we do? How do we remember what things are, right? How do I know that I'm streaming to you guys right now? How do I remember Maddie's name for being on the stream for so long? Like, I don't know. If I didn't have a memory, I'd have no fucking idea. How do I remember all the facts that I study every single day in school, right? So let's talk about this. Human memory is a simple topic when we just break it down to the small parts, all right? So let's say we learn something in class. Like, for example, 1 + 1, or actually, what do you got? What should I do as an example? Because there are a lot of ways to store memories that follow a traditional pathway. We have 1 + 1 = 2. That's a memory that you need to remember for math. There's also the sky is blue. Where is the position of the sun? What type of tree is that? Okay, let's go with, all right, yeah, this is a good one. So let's say we're in New York City, right? We have this really tall building here called the Empire State Building. Now, there's quite a few things from this, right? The Empire State Building is named the Empire State Building. That's the first thing you'd remember, right? The second thing is associating the Empire State Building to a giant tall structure. The Empire State Building is also a structure with this little antenna looking thing on top. It's also located in New York City. It's also located in New York, New York, right? So it's there's so many things that you can get from the Empire State Building when you're first learning about it. Now, how do each of these things get internalized into your brain? Well, the answer is simple. All right, there's quite a few brain structures here. So let's start by talking about the 4 types, the 3 broad types of memory. So we first have sensory. Then we have short-term memory. I'm going to abbreviate that. Then we have, this is called working. Then we have long-term memory. These are the 3 types of memory that are primarily present, and these can be subdivided into separate categories as well. Now let's go over the brain pathway. So we look at the Empire State Building, and we say that it is tall, right? So we form a sentence, basically, or an association. Empire State is tall, right? So the Empire State Building is a very tall building. All right, so that's sensory memory. So the sensory memory primarily gets interpreted. I'm going to draw a shitty version of a brain here. It gets interpreted in different cortices. So for example, your visual cortex, your visual cortex, auditory, say like you're inside your parietal. So for example, for sight, hearing, touch, all of these store memory in some way, shape, or form. Then we go to the short-term memory, right? This right here, that has a very shitty brain. This right here would be in your frontal cortex. Right, so the frontal cortex is the primary mover for storage of short-term memory. It basically holds stuff there. It's like a little holding cell for storing that stuff over time. And what they usually say is that there's about 5 to 7 items, put that in quotes here, that could be held in short-term memory. All right. And if you don't keep reinforcing the short-term memory, it's going to be forgotten eventually. So let's say you don't remember that the Empire State Building is tall over and over again. Oh, I remember the Empire State Building. Oh, I remember it was so tall. That way you don't remember that in your memory. Okay. Now we go further and we go into the long-term memory. All right. So long-term memory is very interesting. This is the part that's not really well studied. And basically, the memory just gets stored forever inside the cortex of your brain, the cerebral cortex, right? And it's stored there for good. But you might wonder, there's always this, thing that is always mentioned whenever you talk about memory. I don't know if you guys know what it is, right? It's mentioned in movies, it's mentioned in literature all the time. I'm gonna write it down here. The hippocampus. The hippocampus is a very misinformed, I wouldn't say misinformed, it's really misunderstood, right? Because people think it's where your memories are stored for good. Actually, not the case. It's a very, very misunderstood part of the brain. But what the hippocampus does, actually looks like a seahorse. The hippocampus, let's say we have a short-term memory, like the Empire State Building is tall. We have to go to the hippocampus, and we have to convert that memory into long-term memory, which then gets stored inside the cerebral cortex. Now, as to what specifically keeps those long-term memories intact, we don't know. We do not know that yet. That's why I say memory is such a very, very nuanced and unexplored topic, because we just don't really know anything beyond this. Now, we do know the different types of memory, and I could go over that here. So we don't really need to talk about short-term memory. It's pretty easy. All it is just partially held sensory memories that your brain decides like, hey, we want to keep this now. So all of those partially held memories are going to be stored, and as you repeat the cycle, it'll keep it in short-term memory and eventually it'll traffic to the hippocampus. But long-term memory is where it gets interesting. Right? So we have two types of memories. Explicit, implicit. Right? Episodic. And what is the other one? Let me just look it up 1 second. Okay. Explicit memory is... Oh. Shit, my fault. What is muscle memory? Oh, semantic. That's what's... Oh, yeah, here we go. Semantic memory. Perfect. So this is semantic. All right, so we got, again, long-term memories. We split into explicit and implicit memory. Explicit and implicit memory then splits into episodic and semantic memory. Hopefully you got that so far. Okay. Now, semantic memory is factual, and episodic memory is episodic. So let's talk about those first. So semantic will be, for example, like the Empire State Building is tall, right? It's a fact. That's a fact that's stored there, and we know that for good, right? Episodic memory is when you is basically the experience of seeing the Empire State Building and how tall it is in New York, right? Those are the two types of explicit memory. You have an experience and you remember it. Now, implicit memory is completely different. In our Empire State scenario, we'd have no implicit memory of this because there's no real thing to continuously repeat. An implicit memory is like following a procedure. So let's say we ride a bike. The reason when you learn to ride a bike, you still have that throughout your entire life is because you have implicit long-term memory or muscle memory of riding a bike, right? So that implicit memory stays with you basically as long as you keep using it. So people ride bikes often. It's pretty often that people can sometimes forget how to ride a bike and then slowly pick it back up because those memories are being reactivated. Those muscles are getting reactivated to what they used to do, right? And let's say you play a game, for example. I don't know, like a rhythm game. That's a good one, like Osu, right? So let's say you play Osu, and you need to remember, I don't want to ride a bike, don't make me, it's scary. Yeah, I mean, right, did you forget how to ride a bike? Because your implicit memory probably just got wiped because you got so busy with other stuff, right? If I tried to ride a bike again, it would be a little bit difficult because I haven't ridden a bike in years. No, my depth perception is ass. Okay, that's another problem, but... okay, but yeah, it's fair, it's fair. But let's say you're playing Osu, and you remember to click the buttons, so you remember to click the buttons at the right time, you remember to point your drawing tablet at the right spot. Eventually, you're gonna forget that if you don't play Osu for a long while, because your implicit memory is gonna start to fade. That's basically how the brain works. And it's actually an interesting concept called neuroplasticity. Oh, shit. So neuroplasticity is a concept in which the brain, I'm gonna blow this up for you guys. The brain is a giant organ, right? It has a lot of sulci, has a lot of gyri, has a lot of shit. But again, it has a finite size. And imagine two circles, right? Here's the circle of human knowledge. This is how much your brain can theoretically store. A very, very, very small percent of it. That's how much your brain can theoretically store without some sort of plastic moving or the ability for it to grow, because obviously you need more neurons and you need more of the ability to store your shit in order to properly store the wealth of human knowledge. That's why big brain is such a joke, right? Okay, so we got the finite size of the brain. So rather than making the brain grow bigger because it's encased within the skull, right? So I'm gonna draw this red to show the fixed immovable skull. We use the neuroplasticity understanding, basically, right? Let's say we have a tree of information. gonna make some branches longer than others. Okay. Okay. Now, let's say this is me, okay? I'll talk about this as if it was me, right? So this right here is a medicine tree. This one will keep growing because I've been consistently reinforcing it throughout my entire life, or my entire life in school, right? I've been consistently reinforcing it's been going through. And let's say this right here is my coding tree, right? It grows slower because I don't code as much as I study, but it will still grow because I'm still using it. And this right here is my music tree. If you guys don't know, I actually used to play piano and guitar when I was younger. As with every Eastern parent who's, as with every kid whose parent was from the Eastern side of the world, you obviously learned a musical instrument at some point in your life. So I learned the piano and the guitar. And eventually I kind of grew out of it. I wasn't really interested in it. I like hearing it, but I don't really like playing it as much. So eventually this didn't really grow and it kind of got more or less pruned because it follows the principle of use it or lose it. Neuroplasticity is quite simple. Allocate your brain for what you're going to continue learning and reinforcing. Deallocate whatever you're not going to be using anymore. Right? It's the same principle as muscle atrophy. Let's say you go to the gym. You go to the gym, let's draw an arm here, right? Stick figure arm. And this is what you look like at first. And then you go to the gym, because you should be going to the gym, and you get fucking swole. You get a big boy bicep. Oh my god, you got some big triceps. Yeah, let's go, some big forearms. Oh my god. Salivating at the thought, bro. It is amazing. But then you stop going to the gym. So all of that muscle you previously had is gonna go away. And you're gonna be back to square one eventually. So that's what I mean by use it or lose it. It's the principle of atrophy. And neuroplasticity is really similar in that case, because your entire body follows that principle. We got a fixed amount of space. If we're not using that space, we need to make room for more space. So yeah, that is essentially how human knowledge is assimilated, trained, whatever. More, what do you mean more space? I mean, you can get more space by getting more weight. Technically. I mean, people say it's easier to work out if you're on the heavier side than on the lighter side. I think you guess what side I'm on. It's the lighter. I apologize. I'm not your heavy, swole Giga Chad that you guys thought I was. I'm sorry. I mean, I do have muscles, yes, but I do go to the gym. But I'm not like crazy, fucking jacked, like fucking crazy ass. I don't know. I know some friends who are jacked as fuck though, and they are. Okay, I don't even. If they come on the stream, they're gonna fucking eviscerate me for sure. Okay, anyways. Maddie said, I learned about that, neuroplasticity in Psych 101. And that and benzos are the first line treatment for anxiety. Okay. It's SNRIs, but alright. That benzo's the second line, but ortho, I'm not an ortho, listen. Don't tell anybody this. I dislike surgery and everything about it. It's not my thing. I am not a surgery person in the slightest. It's not my favorite specialty. It is not my favorite thing to do. And I am very, very, very worried to how surgeons' lives are because they are working day in and day out, and I heavily respect them. So yeah, I just want to say that first of all. But it is not my thing in the slightest. Hell no. Do not want to do ortho in my life. All right, ortho or any type of surgery in that, for that matter. All right. Anyways, now the question then comes along to move like, how does AI fit into this? What specialty isn't basically on most of them, right? Family med isn't on 24/7, right? Any like outpatient clinic isn't on 24/7. Internal medicine is one. Pediatrics, technically, depending on where you're going in pediatrics. A lot of specialties aren't 24/7. It's just like where you go specifically that'll change that. If you're in an outpatient clinic, then you got hours. You got like 9 to 5, and then you fucking leave or something like that. That's how it works. I know an emergency medicine isn't even 24/7. Like sometimes it depends. Like you usually get what 8-10 hour shifts at times. There just needs to be someone there. Bro, there's a PCP in psych and server who's on 19 days nonstop urgent care in his practice. Well, you got 2 jobs. It's like I've shadowed physicians, right? They work in both a hospital and a private practice. So obviously, and they still like have families and stuff. So obviously, you're going to be spending a lot more time managing those two rather than just having one job. So it's really more so how you decide to saddle yourself rather than like, oh, the medical industry is demanding 24 hours. It really does it once you get out of residency. That's his one job, is both practice and the urgent care are both within his hospital system. That's another problem, right? The hospital is overworking him. Like you mentioned the hospital system, but if the practice is completely private and owned by this person, I bet you that this person would not want to be working like 18 hours a day, right? That's what 100% what I'd say. So that's like the overall thing. If you're not working in an affiliated overlord, then you get to make your own rules and make your own choice. That's like the beauty of medicine. You get to do whatever the fuck you want. He doesn't own the practice. Exactly, right? Yeah. Like, in order to make your own rules, or you need to be like employed by somebody who will be able to provide like that for you, you need to be able to like own your own stuff and make your own business. That's like the unfortunate reality from what I've seen, at least. Don't quote me on that. I'm still a student. I just talk to a lot of fucking physicians. Or I talked to a lot of physicians and asked them for advice about shit. So yeah, that's my advice going to you, I guess, from what I've learned from various things. But yeah, I feel like the biggest thing in the medical field that people love to chase is work-life balance. And some specialties, they're like, oh yeah, we have the best work-life balance. And some, they don't. So yeah. Work-life balance is a consistently chased thing in today's time. You know, it's a crazy thing. It's a very, very crazy thing. Nobody knows. But yeah. All right. All right, we got an ad break coming up now, so I'm going to run this ad, and then we're going to link all of the stuff I just told you to LLMs, so stay tuned. All right, for those of you on YouTube, for those of you who are subscribed, whatever, you guys are ad-free, so enjoy. But, yeah, also, I got my payout recently. Thank you guys for supporting me. I didn't even think I'd be making money from this shit, I'm not going to lie. Like, I make more money from my coding than I do streaming. I just do this for fun. So yeah, I got some money. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thank you guys so much for donating, gifting subs, whatever. I always appreciate it. I'll try and do my best as much as I'm free to give you guys some new stuff in channel points or whatever. I'm just kind of like 50-50 stuck on some things right now. You know, trying to figure out where to go and what to do in regards to how to grow and how to give you guys rewards and stuff like that. So it'll happen eventually, just not right now. I also know, like, over the next few days or few weeks, really, it's going to be like holiday season. So everyone's taking their finals. Everyone's doing their stuff. Everyone, if you want like a distraction from all that stuff, then yeah, feel free to hop in. But I 100% understand where everybody's coming from when it comes to, you know, holidays and stuff like that. Because I got that stuff coming up too. Hopefully, depending on what my hospital decides to do with me. But yeah, it's just fun always seeing you guys here. So I just want to say that. Thank you guys for showing up, like always. Oh, man. But yeah. God damn it, I hate these ads. Let me up my volume 1 second. I can barely hear the music on my end. Oh, it's just the music itself. I'm not here. What do you mean you're not here? You're in the chat, Maddie. What the fuck you mean? Alright, ad break's over. Sweet. Alright. You're not here? What is here? You're in the chat. You're speaking, buddy. I'm kidding. Nevertheless. So let's talk about how the stuff I told you about knowledge translates over to LLMs, right? So the way I just told you about how everything is remembered through working memory and all that stuff, again, that's like the broken down process of how memories are stored in the human brain. Now, LLMs, again, I told you about backprop. This could be very synonymous to memory storage. Even though it's not at all the same in practice, right? You're basically training to have the most efficient set of numbers inside your weights for that data. That's what backpropagation is. It is philosophically, like, conceptually similar in the sense that you're basically storing information and using it later. That's what LLMs are. But the thing is, LLMs are not growing like the brain does, right? They don't grow like that. They're basically a snapshot. They are snapshot in time. So you have data from A to B. Basically, you take the entire knowledge of the human world and you train it into an LLM. And you pray to God that your computer doesn't explode. It basically creates a snapshot from then to now, and nothing after that can really be used with it. That's how LLMs work. And that's why a lot of people say that LLMs really are just text predictors. And if you want to degrade what an LLM is, then yeah, it is. So is a tiny computer algorithm that I could write in a few minutes. Like, the special part about the transformer model is that it can generate new things from its initial data, right? So we have that snapshot of data. Again, there are techniques to add current events to an LLM's existing corpus. For example, retrieval augmented generation. Essentially, in the pipeline, what you do is you send the prompt to the LLM, but then in addition to the prompt, you also add some extra info from something like Google, and that gets sent over to the LLM as well. Using that info, the LLM that can then spit out a result. So that's what a lot of apps like ChatGPT do. They basically, whenever you prompt it, it sends a tool call to search the web, and it searches the web, gets the information, and then incorporates it with your response. So it knows the current event as to what's happening. For example, let's say that, the Game Awards happened yesterday. Lackluster show. I didn't like it too much, but the Game Awards happened yesterday. And GPT 5.2 released a couple of days before that. So it released on Tuesday, right? The Game Awards were Thursday. GPT 5.2 was Tuesday. And let's say the training data finished on Tuesday. The entire training is done. This means that the Game Awards from this year won't be in GPT's training data. So let's say you ask ChatGPT, hey, who won Game of the Year? It won't know the Game of the Year for 2025. Unless you give information about the Game Awards 2025, and then you can get who won Game of the Year, which was Expedition 33, right? So that is how RAG works, and that's how you're constantly able to inject new knowledge so that the LLM can generate new stuff, right? But it is pretty common to see various checkpoints. For example, we have GPT-5, right? But then there could be GPT-5 0629 or 0831. So this finished training on June 29th. This finished training on August 31st. And that's the corpus of knowledge that it has up to that date. So yeah, hopefully that makes more sense as to how AI is a snapshot in time rather than the human brain, which is ever growing because we constantly stimulate it, and it's able to keep growing, pruning, and following the principles of neuroplasticity and the quote-unquote neuroatrophy that stems from neuroplasticity. Okay. Now, again, right, all of this background data is just for you to understand how all of these things work. That's the overall goal I want from this for you, right? Rather than arguing moot points that other people say, you actually understand how these things work at like the most basic level so that you're able to properly argue your point across. That's the one thing I really, really hate is when people don't do their full research on something and then they argue it, and it's like, and then they keep pushing it. Like, I can't really reason with you considering that you didn't really research the thing that you're looking for. Everyone can have an opinion, that's fine, but at least like have something to back it up is what I'm trying to say. Do you guys agree? Like, I don't know if it's just me that's like, you should back up your fucking, you should back up what you're trying to say, right? I don't know, that's just what I think. But yeah, let's get into why I personally say that LLMs can generate knowledge. So here's how a human will generate knowledge in this sense. Let's say we have whatever we learned, right, in the brain. This is how I think about, by the way. This is not like a verifiable thing or anything like that. It's how I think about it based on stuff that I've looked at. So let's say we have the human brain. Okay? And based on the knowledge that we have, we come up with a theory. A theory based on, say, for example, some medical concepts. And we find something in the middle of those medical concepts that is like, this doesn't sound right. Let's look into it more. So, for example, an off-label drug use. The Ozempic example I gave earlier. Right, so we could put Ozempic here. So again, we need to go through the path of validation. Now, an AI, which is a big box, is a giant box of training data, right? So the training data can eventually spit out a theorized association. Not the same as a theory, right? You're making like an assertment that something is A to B. You're mainly making like an association based on the data that you have. And then this goes to validation. Hopefully that makes sense. Because, again, an LLM isn't a sentient being. It simply just figured out somehow that... It simply just generates somehow that's like, hey, maybe there's something to this that we never thought of before, right? Let me give an example that I've seen in practice. Okay. This is actually another neural imaging study. This looks like a butt, I know. Shut up. But this is like the brain from a top-down view, okay? So, the brain from a top-down view is viewed by I'm not sure if Hika is here, but if he is, then hi. But from a top-down view, oh wait, I know what this looks like. Oh god, I should not be showing that, but let's just draw this. Okay, let's just say a brain from a side profile view. But in reality, it was a top-down view. I just realized what I drew, and I am very, very sorry. But yeah, so the top-down view of the brain is showed here. Okay? I'm just gonna say a side view. And when you're doing radiology, you usually image this in a neurological way, right? Using an MRI, as I stated before on the stream with NEP. So you use an MRI to visualize the brain, and you try and look for pathologies in there. An AI found something that a human couldn't. A microstroke. I actually saw this in real time. It was really fucking cool. This AI image recognition model basically found a tiny stroke within this person's brain that was just very, very invisible to the eye. And that's like new knowledge of the patient that we were looking at. So that's an example of new knowledge, a very casual example. But a more, industry, and again, that was validated by the doctor's eye, right? The doctor's like, oh my god, there's a stroke there, what the hell? So yeah. And that's not because the doctor is bad, it's just because it was so fucking tiny that it could not be seen by the human eye at all, and the AI somehow found it, so yeah. But there are two examples of knowledge currently being used in science today that was generated by AI, or uses AI to generate things. So I'll write these two down here. One of these I actually covered on a previous stream. But let's talk about AlphaFold first. Let me get some water. So, AlphaFold is a way to solve how to fold proteins, right? If you guys remember the Folding at Home project, it's still a thing, of course. This was like back in 2020 when people were like, you should use your GPUs for something other than crypto mining. And this was an example. You could use GPU computing power to help accelerate protein folding and understanding how various proteins work in the body. Because obviously we don't know all the proteins in our body at this time. I don't think we ever will for a very long time, but we know a decent amount. But yeah, Folding at Home helps advance that research. Now, AlphaFold is... Actually, let me just pull it up for you guys, but it is a LLM that aims to predict folding patterns of an amino acid sequence for generating a 3D protein shape. And I'll explain what that could be used for once I show you guys what it looks like. Here we go. All right. Okay. 1 second. Oops. Here we go. So this right here is AlphaFold. And it says it's accelerating breakthroughs in biology with AI, which is true. Right? This is a very true statement here. Let's scroll down. AlphaFold has revealed millions of intricate 3D protein structures and is helping scientists understand how life's molecules interact. What is AlphaFold? Proteins underpin every biological process and every living thing. Again, proteins are made from an amino acid sequence and are folded in a certain way. The thing is, there's a lot of intricacies within each protein folding that figuring it out manually is a giant pain in the fucking ass. So what AlphaFold does is it basically aims to fold a protein for you and does all of that job with no issue whatsoever. You could just keep feeding amino acid sequences to it and it'll fold the proteins in the way that you want it to fold. This is probably one of the biggest examples of models that can, you know, save lives and allow us to gain more knowledge as to what these proteins look like and what they are. Now you might be wondering, why do we care about what proteins look like, right? Does it help us medically? Well, yeah, of course it does, right? So the reason, I'm gonna write proteins here. So the reason why we should know what 3D structure of proteins are, quite literally they look like this, is because we could use them for drug targets. We can also understand binding properties. Let's say it's like a collagen protein. How is it linked to other collagen proteins, right? Binding properties or chemical properties, right? Let's say it's a protein of a bacteria. Does it have heat sensitivity? Is it heat resistant? You see what I'm trying to say? Like, we're using AlphaFold to figure out these shapes for us to save the time so humans can then extrapolate as to what these proteins can do. And of course, these proteins are validated by humans, which is the important step. But this is a very concrete example of AI generating knowledge. What's a human? Sorry, I meant AGI, guys. I meant AGI. Human is actually just an artificial intelligence, just like a really, really intelligent one. I'm kidding, of course. Of course. Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. But yes, that is how AlphaFold works. Now, I feel like the second one is even cooler, right? And I covered this, again, as I say before, in a previous stream. Cell Sentence 27B. This is a model, again, by Google. Google is like really invested into more specialized models to make scientific fields grow faster. I kind of like that. You don't really see OpenAI or Claude doing that. So Google made a specially trained GEMMA model on base pairs of cancer cells. So based on those base pairs of cancer cells, it was able to infer a new drug pathway and essentially a new immunomodulatory drug to allow for immune cells. I talked about this again. Immune cells to kill cancer cells, right? So by finding this novel pathway, it basically bypasses all cancer resistance to that pathway because no one's used it before. And it's also grown a new layer of hope for those unfortunately suffering with cancer. So I personally find that it's really interesting that we have an AI model that figured that out for us. And it was a huge breakthrough. And again, the common thing is that this research was validated by Yale. Right, so Yale researchers did the experiment, checked and saw if the new pathway actually worked, and surprisingly it did. So when I hear people say that AI can't generate knowledge, this is what I show them. This is exactly what I show them, because this is a concrete example of the initial theory being generated completely by an LLM. Surprisingly, I am actually shocked that this happened in the first place. So the theory was generated by the LLM, and the next thing you know, we're able to validate a new way to make a drug help cancer patients. Pretty cool, right? If you want to read more about it, I'll pull up the link here. Cell Sentence 27B. Let me just show you guys what it looks like. Cell to sentence. Sorry. Nope. Here we go. This is a blog post. I read this earlier, as I stated like 5 times already. So this is a blog post explaining how Cell to Sentence was able to figure out the immunomodulatory pathway for beating the ever-loving shit out of cancer. So yeah. Okay, nevertheless. Alright, so hopefully that adds a little bit of proof into the matter that AI could generate knowledge. But, again, fuck cancer, of course. But, again, right? It's like a low-hanging fruit by saying that AI can generate knowledge. It's really low-hanging, because, yes, it can do that, but it can do any of the other steps, like validation, review, etc. Obviously not. You still need humans for that. And this is why I always push the idea that I hate AI as a replacement. I don't want AI replacing anything. I never wanted AI. I never want AI to replace anything. It makes no fucking sense to me. I want AI to augment and help as a tool, right? It's a tool at the end of the day. It doesn't really make sense for all these tech bros to say, like, oh my god, AI is gonna replace this entire industry. No, it's fucking not. Can it be a tool for the industry? Sure. Why not? Right? I know, that's just me. That's just me. That's just what I think, in general. I mean, there's also one thing to think about as well when it comes to this entire knowledge aspect that I just showed you. It's that the training data is very important. Let's say, like, you're an English major and you try and diagnose someone with a disease. It's going to be really hard to do that, right, for an English major, because they never really learned all of the stuff there is to medicine and diagnosing various diseases, the Vindicate algorithm, the entire pathway to figuring out what's wrong with someone. They learned about English, they learned how about writing, that sort of stuff. So they're good at that, right? It's like different domains of people to get a collective knowledge around the world. So an English major obviously isn't gonna make a medical diagnosis, but a physician will quite obviously make a medical diagnosis. So that's where, like, specialties and subspecialties come into play. Like, you have immunology, you have you have immunology, pulmonology, cardiology, surgery. Everybody does different things in the medical field. In addition to, like, tech, you have sysadmin, developer, QA. There's so many different roles within tech as well that everybody is good at in their own way. Same like in AI, right? This is why you don't often see GPT generating new knowledge, because it's meant to be a general purpose model. Could it generate knowledge at once in a blue moon? Maybe. I don't know, it might hallucinate something weird, but it doesn't really seem likely. Doesn't seem likely that will happen. But for example, you have Cell to Sentence, which was specifically trained on genetic data from various cancers. It's way more likely that you'll get more knowledge about cancer and how to treat it, right? It's basically searching for a needle in a haystack. This is GPT right here. We have all of this hay. It's a lot. It's clogging up the entire pit here. And then we have this teeny tiny red dot. That's our need. Actually, for accurate size. There we go. That's our red dot. You're basically trying to search for that. Meanwhile, you have Cell to Sentence. And what you're searching for, we have the same pit. It's like just a little bit of hay. There. So that's what you're searching for. It's still a needle, but it's in less of a haystack. Is what I'm trying to say. So, as I asked this in Discord, right, I asked the question, like, what do you guys think of if AI could generate knowledge? And a common viewer of ours, 0x, he gave a really, really good thing, right? I'm gonna read it out. There's a definition of bullshit that goes along the lines of bullshit is a statement that is made without care if it is true or false, which kind of applies to LLMs. If you're using temperature, they're probabilistic and don't inherently double check themselves, but you can get knowledge from bullshit if you verify it. You can also tune a bullshit machine to be likely to produce more accurate information. In regards to stuff like AlphaFold, they're interesting, generally are more likely to have findings from specialized models compared to something like an LLM. And that really got me thinking. he's right, 100% right. And you can see that right here. The more training corpus that you have for general purpose models, the quote unquote stupider the model is going to be, but the more quote unquote human the model will be as well. That's why GPT is so good as an assistant. But if you have a specialized model like self-sentence, then it's going to have less things to look at, and it'll be able to find more things easily. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, again, this entire spiel is about randomness, right? You're randomly figuring out somehow that there is a difference, a poor correlation in whatever data you gave, and it randomly comes out somewhere. You run multitudes of generations trying to figure out what's going on. You prompt it a certain way, and then you finally get it with an LLM. That's how LLMs generate knowledge. It can't do it by itself, right? It does it with the input of humans, of prompting it to figure something out, but it can still do that, is my final, basically, thesis, is what I'm trying to say of this argument. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that made sense. And in the meantime, I will show you what just annoys the ever-living fuck out of me when it comes to AI discussion, especially on Twitter. I probably should, you know, this is why I've just stopped using Twitter in general. It's mainly just for inflammatory stuff. There's no, like, nuanced discussion to be found in Twitter. I don't know if it's, like, because the algorithms just kind of got fucked. But yeah, there's, like, no way to find any form of nuance in Twitter, because, like, you see this fucking dumbass trying to post... Oops, that's the stream. My fault, guys. Here we go. You see this person trying to fucking, you know, act like they're the most knowledgeable person by saying some stupid shit and then getting a bunch of clicks because it's signaling to people that, hey, I am the best, right? I know I have authority, even though you're just fucking journalist. Like, brother, what? And I made a reply, right? Simple, short, and sweet. It's better if you plug your ears and close your eyes, because anti-AI people say stuff that makes no sense at all. At least research the topic before making stuff on it, statements on it. I feel like that's kind of valid to say, because there's a lot of shit I see on Twitter where it's just like stuff that sounds like it's very, very well researched, but when you do a Google search, it's like, what the fuck are you saying? And of course, if there's a valid topic, then sure, whatever. And usually I don't show hate comments and stuff, but it's free content, so I might as well. But yeah, so you see people being like, oh, they're valid. You're treating a statistical algorithm like you treat an artificial god. You're too stupid to understand. The anti-AI people are very correct. But how? Sure. Makes zero sense, yada yada. You a med student, a place where Gen AI could be beneficial when ran on local models of controlled training data, but you want to hand wave how LLMs work. I literally just talked about it, and I am very aware as to how specialized models... It's just a fucking load of bullshit. I bet you this guy's a fucking research shit at all. They just fucking found some talking points or just saying it. It's... That's honestly what makes me really... It doesn't make me pissed off. I don't care what people say. I'm gonna be for real with you guys. I don't really care. I have my fun with LLMs. I enjoy them as much as a lot of people do. It's just that, you know, some people are just fucking saying something for the sake of saying something. And I personally probably did the same thing too. I probably shouldn't have said that, but, you know, you live and you learn. I saw a neurosurgeon openly and proudly admit he was ableist the other day. Well, again, Maddie, you live and you learn. Oh, brother. I mean, that's the great thing about doctors. They all have an opinion, and you can choose the one that you want to go to. The things you'll never hear on King Bride channel. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Openly admitting that you're ableist is kind of crazy, but maybe, who knows? Given the benefit of the doubt, you could also say, like, maybe he didn't even think about it, but based on what you're saying, and since I really trust you into what you're saying, probably was pretty ableist in that fact. Probably was a dickhead, but yeah. People are dickheads on Twitter, man. It's fucking stupid. Like, and I'm gonna go... He committed to it when he was pointing... Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, there's also a thing from that fucking journalist post that was so funny. So, again, I don't usually talk about drama, but this shit was so fucking hilarious, dude. There's this person who commented on the journalist post saying that, I think you're wrong, AI can generate knowledge. It makes sense that it can. It makes sense that it can. And they're like, okay. And the journalist is like, well, actually, you should study philosophy. And the guy comes back, fucking Chad. He's like, yeah, but by the way, I'm a philosophy professor. That was the funniest shit I saw. And then the journalist was trying to fucking save herself and just got completely fucking owned by that dude. He's a philosophy professor and taught the topic that journalist was trying to make him learn. It was so fucking funny. And then she started playing the victim too. Oh my god. People do not know when to fucking drop it, man. They just do not know whatsoever. Like, you just got owned, own up to it, and just drop it. Like, seriously. I'm yoinking all these controversial things for free content. That's what I want to do, but man, that person got fucked over. All right, the neurosurgeon doesn't think disabled students need accommodation should be... Are you fucking serious, Maddie? Really? Yo, send this tweet in Discord. I want to see this shit, because a little bit of background for me. I do have disabilities, and I do have accommodations, and I am in medical school. So, fuck that person that's saying that. What the fuck? I think everybody should have a chance to become a physician if they want to, and they can keep up with it, considering that the curriculum is really fucking tough. Same, but trying to get into nursing. It's like, I think everybody has, a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, a lot of people have a form of disability nowadays. The thing with disabilities is that, you know, people with disabilities always have this feeling of like, they want to be normal, right? They want to have the feeling of being normal. And it's like, you're already stomping on them. Like, oh yeah, you shouldn't go into this career because you have a disability. The fuck? Dude has glass. I mean, yeah, I guess glasses is technically a disability, but it's more of an accepted. It's like a universally accepted one because everybody has it. But like, I don't get it, man. What the fuck is with the... Why are you denying the ability? I'm not trying to virtue signal it. It's like genuinely something I believe in, considering that I have similar stuff. It's like, how are you that tone deaf? Most doctors in the next few years will probably have a disability. It's probably undiagnosed, right? I mean, that's just me making some stupid conjecture, but I don't know. That's something I sometimes think about, right? And I don't know, that sort of saying just kind of rubs me the wrong way. It really does. Doesn't make any sense. Nevertheless, so thank you for bringing it to my attention, Maddie. I really appreciate it, but Jesus Christ, that neurosurgeon is tone deaf as shit. Did you post it in Discord? No, okay. I'll take a look at it later, but whatever you want to send it. But yeah, like, what the fuck? Dude, really? Are you serious right now? Oh my god. This is what I have to say. Dude, neurosurgeon, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, man? Alright, we got an ad coming up. But yeah. That was a good place to end the entire AI knowledge. Let me know if you guys who are lurking, you guys who are in chat, what do you guys think? Feel free. Listen, I'm not the be-all end-all of these topics. I'm just personally saying my experience and based off of my research in both fields, and the stuff I've learned and what I believe AI can do and has done. But let me know what you think. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I said stuff that's pretty valid, but if something is invalid or something feels like it's kind of out there, then yeah, as long as it's not like crazy controversial, because like, I don't want to dive into those nuances. I'm not a debater. I'm more of like an informant. Oh, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. You could join Discord, whatever. Yeah. Ad break. Everybody loves ads. Wow, fun. So he changed his argument depending on who he was talking to. Really? Do tell. I want to know the tea, Maddie. I want to know the tea. He changed his argument depending on who he was talking to? How does that work? Oh, why am I tiny? The fuck? Hold up. I put in Discord? Okay, I'll open it up. I'll open it up privately first just to make sure it isn't... Oh, it's one of these fucking looking ass posts, man. We give a spot to someone who needs a combination to take a spot away from someone. What is this supposed to do? Oh, bruh. Everything is wrong with medicine. My students, yada yada yada. Oh, jeez. This is a DO too? Really? It's clean? Okay. Yeah, I want to talk about... I don't want to, like, publicly shame someone, but... I'll just read the post. I won't show what it is. Just to, you know, prevent it from being shown on my stream, but you will. Okay, yeah, go ahead and show. That's fine. But I'll just read it off. All right. All right. So let's wait for the ad to finish, though. But yeah, this is crazy. First is a DO too, which is interesting considering that, you know, the DO profession or the DO specialty, sorry, DO degree is more like accepting because we learn the osteopathic stuff and it's like, what the fuck? Okay, ad break's over. So let me read the tweet to you guys because I'm not going to show it on the screen. Medical school admissions and residency spots are a zero-sum game. If you give a spot to someone who needs accommodations, you're taking a spot away from someone else. And then it's from this guy who, this is a quote tweet. It's a picture of a surgeon who has an hourglass, that big one. And it says, I tried to tell them I always got 50% extra time in med school. Yeah, I don't know. That just reads like a fucking, the most privileged take I've ever seen. Like, he tried to make a false equivalency between epilepsy and oh god. Like, some jobs, right, are not for some people, right? That is true. That is very true. But to, like, completely deny medical school to anyone who has a disability, yeah, just because I need extra time on a test doesn't mean I can't be... Exactly, right? As I stated before, people with disabilities are always striving to be as normal as they can be. It's not like they, you know, try and be as disabled as they possibly can. Fuck no. I mean, some might be. I don't know. Rico uses a cane and is an amazing dialysis. Rico's cool. I like Rico. He's chill. He's awesome. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, I don't get it. It's like you can be good at your job just because you get like stuff like extra time on your tests. It's not because you're bad at your job. It's because, you know, you have some cognitive issues that make it so you can't do tests well. It's like exams are made, a lot of it, like, hot take, a lot of exams, especially for schools, standardized ones, are things you have to learn how to take. Like, you have to, I used to say like, oh, good test taker is the thing. I changed my mind on that, considering that you have to understand how to take the test in addition to the knowledge that you have. But in a clinical situation, how to take a test isn't a really thing. Having to take a test isn't the end-all be-all, right? I feel like a lot more colleges, residencies, whatever, are starting to get used to that fact, but it's like, man, just because you're not good at every single thing in medicine doesn't mean that you're not good at what you do, right? Get good at what you do, hone your craft, and figure out what you're good at. But don't just be like, oh, you need to know everything because you're done. That's the reason why there are so many specialties out there. Rico and I are useless. Yeah, of course, you're useless. You're just... so that's what makes me so pissed off for you guys. And myself as well. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. Ridiculous. Makes no sense. Taking a spot away from someone else is crazy. Fuck that guy. And the best part, and you said the neurosurgeon's part cancels that out, is that he's a DO. So if you guys don't know, DO is Doctor of Osteopathy. It's a degree that I'm working towards. And it actually teaches students, you know, how to treat a patient with the entire patient in mind. I mean, that's how I learn. And that's how I practice it. And a lot of people have said I do good with patients, right? I love talking to them. I love, as you know, why the fuck am I talking to you guys right now? I love talking to people. It's my favorite thing to do. But the fact that, just like, there's a PM&R doc who hands his ass to him. He drops out of the thread rotation. Yeah, of course he would, because he's fucking stupid. If you're a DO, you should be more compassionate, no? That's how you learned how to do these things. Or you just get fucking bitter through going through the hospital system, man. God damn. Oh my god. I would not trust this man to be my doctor unless he was the OA. Fair, very fair. I do the same. That's why I said before. That's why there's different doctors who do different things. See, the thing with medicine is that this is the cool part about medicine, is that medicine is an ever-growing field, right? Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own research. Everyone has their own thing that they're attributed to. And it's constantly changing. Old research is rejected. New research is found. New things are found. New things are applied. Old things are thrown away. That's the beauty of it. We're still studying the human body. We're still studying how to help those with various diseases because, again, everything is quote-unquote curable. We just don't know how yet. That's how I like to look into it. Interesting part is he's in policy writing and someone else looked him up. His patients really like him. Fair enough. Maybe he's a good neurosurgeon. You don't know. I mean, he just makes stupid takes, but he's good at what he does, right? I mean, if you're good at what you do, you know, you gotta be good at what you do. Will you see the doctor because of his opinions? Probably not. If you see this shit on social media, not a good look, you know? But if he does a good job though, and he's a dickhead, then yeah. I don't trust someone with the stake to do surgery on me and disabled. I mean, his take really extends to just medical school admissions, so if you're a disabled person, he does surgery, it's money for him, and he'll do a good job. I'd assume he'd do a good job, but that's a fair statement. You don't really know, right? You have to get testimonials or whatever. It's a whole thing. It's just... That's what it's like running a business, man. It's a lot of shit, but man, that is crazy. That just makes me so annoyed, man. It just makes me so annoyed that people can just act like that and then just get a pass. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry. That just makes me kind of sad. But yeah, nevertheless, thanks for bringing that back. I really appreciate you bringing that up, and I'm happy to open up that I do have disabilities, and I'm medical school with said disability. I have accommodations, and it's like it gets really hard at times. I talked to you about this, obviously, but it gets hard. It gets difficult, and it's not easy going through this stuff. And again, I'm trying to have as little as I can, but it's like it doesn't make it happen. Hey, Hurt Badly, how are you doing? Have you seen Darling in the Franxx? Isn't this character from that anime? No, Monami is an original character, but interesting that you think she's from Darling in the Franxx. I guess I could see the parallel. The only character I know from Darling in the Franxx is Zero Two. That's it. I don't know anything else. I have no idea about anything else, but welcome to the stream. Nice to meet you. We were just talking about some fucking stupid... We were talking about some medical tweets that some chatters have been posting, but yeah, nice to meet you. But no, Monami is a completely original character if you want to read up on her. What are you working on? Oh, I'm not really working. I'm just mainly talking about tech stuff. And I talked about just now, I talked about like a few thoughts I have about AI and knowledge generation, things like that. So, you know, I've been working with AI for the past 2023, 4, 5, so 2 years, and I have a lot of opinions about it. I have a lot of opinions in programming in general. And I also have a lot of opinions about medical stuff. So yeah, my name is King Brian, I'm a medical student, etc. Oh, so have you seen the whole world model thing right now? No, I've not. Would you like to link it? I'd be happy to take a look. Yeah. But Maddie, like, oh man, I don't know, like, the fact that ableism like that is still in the medical field is kind of crazy to me, but again, to each their own, right? That's why there are different doctors in the world. Can't really fault them for that stuff. What is this? He's ignorant. Oh, yeah. That neurosurgeon is ignorant. Oh, I can't and will fault him. I don't know. I never hold any vitriol to anyone I talk to online. Unless they, like, are really, really a dickhead. Because, like, a dickhead to me specifically. Because, like, people are just saying shit. Again, as you know, Twitter rewards controversy. Twitter rewards things that are negative nowadays. So it's like, posting stuff that's positive doesn't really gain you much traction on that stupid-ass website. So I don't really post there anymore. It's like... let me look at what her battery just sent here. Marble.worldlabs.ai. What is this? Let's see. It looks interesting. Let me just open up my window here. Oops, here we go. Oh, cool. So it's generation of 3D worlds. That's pretty sick. Let me see what this looks like. Sweet. Looks pretty cool, actually. So I guess this is a tool that helps create different 3D worlds. Or at least create concepts of 3D worlds, because if this was placed in like a game, you know, it will look a lot different, but I'd honestly, you know, use this for an initial reference concept for actually designing a 3D world. It's like a tool. That's pretty neat, though. I like that. It's pretty sweet. Thanks for sharing. It's called worldlabs.ai. Cool stuff. Let me see what they actually do. Spatial intelligence. Mouse can understand and interact with the world. Storytelling to simulation. Sweet. I think they're trying to solve spatial intelligence by getting world models right and then porting them into embodied world models. Listen, I'm for anything that makes human development easier. For robot foundation models. Sick. Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. So robotics will therefore have more awareness of the world around them is what you're basically trying to say? That's what they're trying to do? Cool, cool. I like that. Look at Maddie's chats. When you work with patients, I think you have a responsibility to try and stay up to date. So do I have vitriol for him? No. Do I trust him? No. I question anything he says about the topic? Yeah, of course. Am I based in the US? Yes, I am. I am based in the US. That's correct. I am American. I have my guns. I got my freedom, buddy. Alright. And that is also why I'm streaming at this time, because if I was in Europe, I'd be asleep by now. Ay, ay, ay. Hell yeah. Fireworks and beer, buddy. Let's fucking go. I don't drink, but I love being a fucking pyromaniac. So you've heard of all the San Francisco thing and stuff being on Twitter hurts my head by all the companies being funded. I am so aware of all the companies being funded. I am so aware of that. Oh my god. There is so much shit. If you just mentioned AI to actually... Fuck it, I'm gonna show you guys this. I saw something. I said this in Discord. The Discord. Hold on. I got you guys. I saw this today when I opened fucking Microsoft Word. Brother. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Isn't Copilot just GPT? It's a shittier version of GPT. Dude, I got a prompt when I was just trying to edit a document for some admin shit for my school. Chat with Copilot in Word. Buddy, I don't want to chat with Copilot anywhere. I have ChatGPT. Why the fuck are you trying to shove it down my throat like that? Fuck off. Man. Oh my god. Like, my work makes me try to check my grammar with Copilot. Oh, actually, listen. Now, that is a good use. I used to use Grammarly back in the day, and it saved my ass on so many high school essays. But I feel like grammar checking with Copilot is fine. And obviously, you can reject the suggestions it gives you. But yeah. So how are the American schools sabotaging computer labs with AI? I don't know. I'm in fucking medical school. I graduated that shit already. I know medicine in AI. I don't know fucking K through 12 in AI. I just know that people are using ChatGPT now. Sometimes to cheat on tests, sometimes to do assignments for them, but also other times to make concepts easier to learn. In fact, like when I study sometimes, I use ChatGPT to do all of the summarize a concept for me. Oh, I thought you mentioned school, sorry, to high school. I thought, no. That was a few years ago, bro. Oh my god. I remember when I was in high school, so I'm not that old, but do schools here even have computer labs anymore? I think they would, yeah. Like if you're trying, there's obviously computer science classes, and you can't exactly do Python and stuff on a Chromebook. Like you can do web Python, sure, but Python interpreter, I don't think school Chromebooks could do that. At least when I was in school, I don't fucking know right now. I don't think schools have, I think schools still have computer labs though. That's definitely a thing. If they don't, I'd be very sad. A lot of kids don't know how to type. Well, yeah, it's because they use iPads all the time. I'm joining a virtual cell model company this year, like building virtual immune systems. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm big into the immune. I love the immune system. It's like my favorite system of the body. That's fucking sick. Holy shit, yeah, that's awesome. So are you building it for like, you know, figuring out drugs, diagnoses, and stuff like that? Or is it for like, you know, just gathering more data about the immune system in general? Most of my self-studies for the CZI Biohub open. Let me look those up. Okay. They had computer labs, wouldn't they have learned? Let's see. What's this? Ooh. Sweet. That's fucking sick. That is awesome. Oh, I'm so happy. Go to Miles? Sure. Oh, I want to see this. Whoa. Oh my god. Wow, that is fucking sick. Particle analysis and cryo-electron tomography. Prediction gene expression and personalized DNA sequences with tissue split. Damn. Okay, I didn't know this existed. Let me see. What's this? Let's see. Variant. Because I was talking about cell to sentence from Google that was based on Gemma. And that's what I was talking about for how AI was generating knowledge. But I didn't know there was a whole fucking open model hub of this. Holy fuck. That's so cool. I just picked their paper and reproduced their code. Well, that's sweet. Yeah. Re-implementing is one of the best ways to learn, right? Right? But if students had computer labs, wouldn't they have learned? True. Yeah, when I was in computer class, I just, learned typing that way. But it was never, like, enforced that I had to, learn and get, like, a specific grade on typing. God, I hope I was in America. I mean, some people want to be here, some people don't. That's up to them. Oh man. But yeah, this is sick. I really like this. I'll keep this in my thoughts. All right, this is cool. Thank you for sharing. Really appreciate it. I always encourage people to share new developments and advancements in LLMs and AI and stuff like that because I find this shit to be awesome. I had an actual keyboard class in middle school, but that was extracurricular. Yeah, so in my school, like when I was younger, I had... Wow, you're old. Sorry. But when I was younger, I had a lot of keyboard classes, mainly in like elementary and middle school. Mainly middle school, actually. I had typing classes. And it was mainly like something I did after the actual computer class was over. So it was like just for a few extra minutes. The teacher was amazing. I love the teacher. She was great. But the typing class was mainly like self-study, basically. And she helped us with like stuff that we were stuck on, but it wasn't really like a enforced thing in school. So I guess since these new kids don't really want to learn that, considering that they could do most of the stuff on their phone anyway with their thumbs, I don't know, typing I guess has gone by the wayside. I found like the best way for me to learn typing was coding, right? Coding, development, because you need to know how to type properly in order to code. That's like a fucking that's a thing that needs to be known in this way. I still know a lot of doctors that fucking do touch typing and they use like a microphone to dictate, right? I don't think I'll really ever use a microphone to dictate if I'm a physician because I can type really fast as is and I like typing more. Want to see something cool? Sure. Show me. I took a second-degree burner at that time. Oh god, it must have been painful, Maddie. Fuck. realdeepresearch.github.io. What's this? Ooh. Hello there, my friend. Oh my god. So use just different domains of deep research, I assume? Neural networks. Why is it? How did I make it not spin? Cluster of research. That's why I believed it was. Yep. Oh, these are different journals. I see. This is different category. Oh no, sorry. This isn't journals. These are different categories. My fault. Science category. I took a cooking class in school. Someone made upper arm contact with a hot cookie sheet. Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. Fuck, that sucks. Quantum robotics. Wow. Yeah, if you want to share more of these, you could share it in the chat here, but if you do want to share more with the rest of everyone else, you can hop in the Discord as well. Feel free. But this is cool. This is awesome. I really need to look at the application of AI outside of like the general LLM field, because that's where I mainly hang out in. And that's what I've mainly developed for, like local and open source, open weight LLMs. But I've never really looked into robotics, and I never fully looked into stuff outside of the medical field and the general purpose field. That's it. So I find this stuff really interesting, especially robotics. My dumb child self, don't tell a teacher for like an entire class was an inch raised. Yeah, I mean, teachers do have that kind of feeling about them, like you're kind of afraid of them. Sorry, just drinking some water. But yeah, like, shit, that's sick, so fucking cool. The Polo Lab at Georgia Tech that puts out incredible tools. Polo. What the fuck? Dang, nice. Okay, yeah. We could definitely... Okay, so here's what we could do, right? If you're ever willing to share stuff. I do streams like every week, right? You know, where I talk about various things in tech. If you ever want to share something that's really interesting about AI that you find, like a specific article or a specific site, like what you're sharing right now, feel free to drop him, Discord, Twitter, whatever, and I'll go over. I'll do a deep dive, look into it and stuff like that. I'll be more than happy to, as part of a topic. Because, you know, right now I could just like do like a cursory browsing of all these things, and they look fucking sick, but I would definitely be happy to do a deep dive on stuff like this. Like, just now, I was comparing the human brain, human memory storage to LLMs and how they work, basically. Join Discord? Yeah, sweet. Sounds good. See you there. But yeah, one thing I really did want to talk about, though, in Twitter is... We're not talking about React. That's its own problem. What I want... Yeah. Here we go. So, let's go on the flip side of AI here. RAM. Everybody loves RAM, guys. Everybody loves RAM. Did you know that Bun.js is... Yes, I talked about that last week. Yeah, I don't know. Bun and Anthropic, man. I guess the point was to ship Claude code with like Bun so that they could optimize it. It's weird, but next thing you're gonna see is like Bun.ai with the AI namespace. And it's just gonna be connected to fucking Claude. That's like the dystopia I'm thinking about when it comes to Bun with Anthropic. I personally prefer Dino and Node over Bun. I don't know. Bun seems like a little too bleeding edge for me. I tried using it. It just started fucking dying. It kept dying on me. I find that more people use Dino or Node nowadays. Open code fucks sweaty. Oh my god, you're a riot. You're such a riot. Holy shit. Yep. I mean, open code still has its niche, you know? Like, it's fucking... Oh, wait, does open code actually run on Bun? That would be so funny. Claude is like, Anthropic is like, no more open code, not allowed on Bun. They switch to fucking Node instead, it's still fine, like, brother. Oh my god. Alright, nevertheless. Yes, it does run on Bun. That makes sense. That makes sense why you said that now. I don't follow like the coding tools that much, because like I use mainly just GPT for code. If anything, I usually just use my own brain for code most of the time. I've been doing this for so long. I just if I ever need documentation, and stuff, I use like GPT. But otherwise, I just use my own brain most of the time. I don't really use AI coding models myself. I'm not a big vibe coding fan, personally. That's just me though. Do whatever you want. I use Quen CLI, Kimi CLI, Quad Code, Open Code. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of models. Yeah, no, I don't use any of that. That's the... There's stuff like cloning repo. Yeah, that works. Yeah, you do you. I already know Git and stuff like that, so I just do all that myself. I know people call it like natty code. It's so funny. Like people I talk to, they call it fucking natty coding. And I'm like, bro, it's just how I code, man. It's just like AI for the chatting. It just replaces Stack Overflow for me. That's all it does. Oh man. But yeah. Let me just shift gears a little bit here. So let's go to the RAM stuff now. If you guys don't know, RAM has been a huge problem, especially in today's economy, right? Because, let me just blow this up for you guys. There we go. All right. I've been covering the RAM saga since its inception. RAM prices have been going up. Getting yourself a PC is hard. It's probably like, it's really fucking expensive. It requires a ton of money nowadays because of the RAM prices. And again, as stated in the last stream, I covered this, RAM prices can affect SSDs. They can also affect GPU prices. Fun stuff, right? So that's where we currently are. Now, we start to see, and the main reason, one of the main reasons this is a thing is because, number one, data centers, and number two, the increased requirement of memory for LLMs and general AI. All of this has made the RAM supply plummet and RAM demand go up. So once that happens, the price is going to increase. So that's the summary so far. Now we have a new contender in the RAM business, right? Let me show you guys. So we got Hardware Canucks, which is a very prominent YouTuber, saying that this is bad news. Micron exits the consumer RAM business. So if you guys don't know who Micron is, they actually make they had a consumer computer parts company called Crucial. Yes, Crucial, exactly. And they sold SSDs, they sold RAM, mainly those two. And a lot of companies actually use Crucial for RAM, right? A lot of companies, a lot of people, especially a lot of people, because Crucial is the consumer business that provided people with a lot of stuff. And the thing is that Micron makes the RAM chips. There's a lot of brands of RAM, but they might just have Samsung chips, and they might have Micron chips. So Micron chips were very, very important. So basically, Crucial was a very good entry-level company for getting people into PC building. And now it's gone. Like one of the big few RAM companies essentially just evaporated. Now, Micron is still there, right? But they're more so pushing for data centers. Again, because here's the current state of the world, right? So we have RAM. We got AI, which is huge. And we got consumers, which is very, very tiny. Very small. Very petable, right? Very, very, very tiny. So obviously, Micron is going to supply for the people who are paying more. And that would be AI. And in order to do that and to not ruin their own supply, they basically decide to do the controversial thing of nuking their consumer business, which will really, really nuke their reputation within the community. I guess people will still like them when they come back, but if they do come back, that is. But yeah. I'm also hearing Elon is sleeping at the Samsung fabrication factories to overlook production. What? Really? What the fuck? Elon is an interesting fellow. Elon is a very interesting fellow. He can do whatever he wants to do, man. I don't know. All I know is that the Twitter algorithm fucking sucks now. That's all I know. Nevertheless. But yeah, let's read this small snippet of the article here. So it says, Micron Technology, a leader in innovative memory and storage solutions, today announced its decision to exit the Crucial consumer business, including the sale of Crucial consumer branded products at key retailers, e-tailers, and distributors worldwide. Micron will continue Crucial consumer product shipments through the consumer channel until the end of fiscal Q2, so February 2026. Okay, the company will work closely with partners and customers through this transition and provide continued warranty service, blah, blah, blah. The AI-driven growth... Oop, we got an ad break coming up. I apologize, guys. The AI-driven growth in the data center led to a surge in memory, yada, yada, yada. The Crucial brands become synonymous with technical leadership and reliability. I think there are millions of customers who support the Crucial journey. Damn. Is Micro Center and Micron the same thing in America? No, they're not. Micro Center is a brick and mortar store. Micron is the company that makes the RAM chips. Why Micron can't be like AMD, focusing on the small gaming market instead of the giant AI market? Well, AMD is focusing on the AI market, Moshi. Also, welcome. AMD is focusing on the AI market. It's just that they're not doing as good as NVIDIA. So they focus a lot more on the Linux side of things. So gaming also falls with that. They know their niche. That's the thing. We got an ad break. Okay, so I'll keep yapping. But yeah, anyone who's watching on Twitter, YouTube, the main stream is on Twitch. Join there if you want to chat and you want me to actually see your chats. I'm working on the YouTube Twitch bridge, but it's gonna take some time. But yeah. So Twitch has ads, unfortunately. If you subscribe, you're chilling. Keep yapping. Let's go. All right, bet. I'll keep yapping. Sure. Calm down, buddy. I'm kidding. Man, the one thing I like about winter is that everything is nice and cool in my house. So like the water is really refreshing. Why can't Micron be like... So, AMD has kind of lost the race, you know, in AI. Like, this ROCm is absolute shit. And they're trying to, you know, have a fine balance. The CPUs of AMD are amazing. Those are good products and keeping them afloat. The GPUs, on the other hand, are okay. A lot of people are buying AMD because, you know, they are marketing to the people that they have. What do you study in medicine? Well, I'm a medical student, so I study pretty much everything nowadays. I'm currently in my rotation, so I'm just studying different specialties. I'm currently I was in emergency medicine, so I was, you know, in the ER of a hospital for like the past month. So yeah. I just took a shower and I still feel warm and feel, yeah. I guess you're in a hot climate. That'll do it. That'll do it. That'll do it to you. You know. Yeah, in the summer, like are you gonna do? I have to do residency. Yeah, all medicals. Anyone who wants to become a physician has to do a residency. Yeah, that's my plan for sure. Everyone's plan is residency. Because you have to do that, you have to complete it. They have to complete your licensure exams. They have to become an attending. So yeah, that's the fun stuff. I know there's quite a few VTuber doctors out there. Some are attending, some are attendings, some are residents, some are just students like me. But yeah, we all are in one big happy family. I can only imagine how you study for happy. Oh no, hurt badly. Listen. If you want me to call you hurt, you want me to call you badly, or just hurt badly. I don't care. But the MCAT. Oh, you know, okay. Hold on. I need to reload my key switches. Fuck, I hear the clacking. This meme is the equivalent of standardized testing kits for medicine. You take the MCAT, then you got your medical boards. The medical boards are like much worse than the MCAT in terms of content, bruh. Oh my god. I mean, the MCAT has some really fucking stupid ass sections though. Like, cars is the death of me. I don't know why the fuck that section existed. It's terrible. But man, medical boards are a whole different ball game, man. Oh my god. My friend, the MCAT was just its own thing. I took the MCAT in my second year of undergrad. Most take it third year, but I was in like a program, so I had taken my second year, summer. That was a fun time. Oh god. That year brings me trauma. That year brings me so much fucking trauma, bro. Oh, fucking hell, man. Nevertheless. Alright, but let's just answer. So did you study like a Chinese student? Oh, that's racist. Okay. Did I study like an Asian student? No. Well, I mean, in dedicated times, I always study a lot. I don't study to the point where it's gonna kill me. Of course not. That makes no sense. I believe in work-life balance in some way, shape, or form. Like, I actually, sorry, I'm stumbling over words a bit, but the way I usually study is time-based, right? I have a whole system that I use for time management. I'll probably talk about it in a different stream. I've been saying that for months at this point. I've never had the time to actually do it. Maybe after the new year. But I really like you know, have a time management system, and that's how I study. So yeah, I could talk about that in a different stream though. I could never study with an iPad, pen, and notebook, the ultimate. Nah, I like my iPad. Listen, pen and notebook is good and all, but once you have to carry like more than one, it just becomes annoying. And also, like, I could back up all my documents. I could access them whenever I want. I could annotate slides. Annotating slides is probably like the best point of having an iPad. In fact, when you go to medical school, you usually get an iPad for free. Or so you pay for it with your tuition, then you get it. It's not really free, but the pencil slips on the screen. You can get screen protectors to not have that. I personally don't care. I'm used to it, right? It has a little bit of a little bit of drag, so I'm fine with it. I've been using, you know, digital note-taking for years, and I liked it a lot more due to the lightness aspect and the ability to, you know, annotate PDFs and stuff like that. Yeah, Paperlike, that's one of them. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person, right? Do you want the matte screen protector or not? I believed it was ass too, considering that was such a pain in the ass to even put it on in the first place. But I like screen protectors. I have like a little glass screen protector on here just to make sure it doesn't crack because it's an expensive device. But yeah, I find it fine. I actually like iPads more. It also allows me to draw and show you guys what I'm doing, so it's fun. Nevertheless, so let me go over Moshi's AMD thing, right? So we got AMD. and we got NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been sowing the seeds of AI for a very long time with CUDA. And they basically won. CUDA is basically used by everybody. Like, every software you know of will use NVIDIA CUDA. It's crazy. But AMD had their own competitor, which is ROCm. And it's okay, right? Supporting it is annoying for a lot of developers, including those I work with, right? I personally don't write CUDA. I know way too many people that do, but we all know that hippifying CUDA is such a pain in the fucking ass. So the reason, Moshi, why AMD is still selling to gamers is because NVIDIA has already won with AI at this point. AMD, though, still sells their Instinct series, and that's used in some server farms. All right, night, Maddie. Thanks for attending. The Instinct cards, the MI ... series, is for corporate, right? So those go in data centers. And that's where, you know, a lot of AI stuff goes on with AMD. And they're cheaper. They're much cheaper than getting like an NVIDIA fucking B6000, I don't know, or even something higher, that H100. Or the giant fucking server farm that they make. I forgot what that's called. B6000 Pro? Is that what it's called? I think that's what it is. But nevertheless. So AMD doesn't have just their, you know, ROCm series, their ROCm on their GPUs, but Instinct is a very, very prominent thing in the AMD sphere for corporate, but they don't really sell this stuff to consumers because, you know, consumers are buying NVIDIA for those who want to run locally. So AMD's like, fuck it, we're just going to sell to the people that actually give a fuck about us, which is gamers. And they decide to go into that market, and they're succeeding, right? If you want to buy a GPU purely for gaming, then AMD is your best bet. If you want to do anything outside of gaming, then NVIDIA is your better bet. If you want to use Linux and not have to struggle, then AMD is your best bet, right? That's what people say. I don't know. I don't use Linux. I use Windows. Sue me. But I think SF Compute Company rents out H100. Most of them do. Most of them do, right? They all get H100 GPUs. That's how the world works in the LLM fucking corporate AI world. But yeah, you can expect your GPUs to become more expensive though, because of the RAM shortage. That's fun. That's really fun. I'm totally smiling right now, guys. I'm totally smiling about, you know, laughing so much. It makes me annoyed. It makes me annoyed that a lot of people that I built PCs for, or like gave them PC build guides, are not able to use them anymore. Have you made the avatar in Void? No. This is a live 2D model that I commissioned. Monami is that. If you want to learn more about Monami, I could just drop it here. There you go. This is Monami herself, but yeah. This is the little character on the screen that I, you know, play. But yeah, the model is a live 2D model. I got commissioned from a bunch of artists, a bunch of rigging artists and stuff like that. Very nice people. They did all the work for me, and I, you know, gave them the ideas and stuff. I helped with the ideas and the design along with their creative process. So it was good. It was good. A lot of people contributed to Monami as the character, the design, and everything, and basically just to build upon a bunch of lore that I previously had. So yeah, that's why she's the person I use. But yeah. Oh my gosh. The overall RAM shortage is just so bad, though. I know Moshi is out here, like, trying to build a PC, and is like, oh shit, I can't build one now, because, like, yeah. It's impossible. It costs too much fucking money. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Nevertheless. Now look at the comments here. Oops. Oh gosh. There we go. Oop, there we go. We are headed into a world where individual consumers are being downgraded to peasants, living in the shadows of huge businesses trading with each other. It sucks. Now the shit is the market is gonna be. We're going back to these, yada yada. I like their products and services. Forced cloud and AI gaming. Pure greed. But yeah, everyone's mad, obviously. I mean, understandably, right? It's gonna be harder to get RAM. I mean, I remember when EVGA exited the NVIDIA GPU business. I have an EVGA card and a power supply in my computer right now. They're very, very good. It's just that they aren't exactly, you know, they're not existing anymore in the GPU space, which kind of sucks. Considering that they were one of the best board partners of NVIDIA, but you live and you learn. I mean, Zotac is the better one now from what I remember, so yeah. That's its own thing, though. Nevertheless. Alright. It is getting kind of late, though. Do I end it here? Check out Tensor. Oh, I know Tensor Torrent. Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah. Oh, Tensor. Yeah, I've seen these guys before. I'm not sure if I've talked to them before. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I don't recall. Fuck. Sorry. This is just something I've never really remembered. I haven't done this stuff in so long. Oh, these guys. Yeah, no, I haven't talked to them. I talked to Tensor Wave, not Tensor Torrent. Shit. So they have a box for doing this shit. How much does this cost? Oh, oh my god. The Tiny Grad. I know one of my friends fucking eviscerated Tiny Grad, like, because they were asking for so much for a PC they could just build at home. Asking for way too much fucking money for that shit, man. And then they got fucking called down. They started fucking defending themselves and just got completely cooked. They're bad. I know what you're talking about. Tiny Grad specs. Oh my god, it's so dumb. The tiny box. Yes, this fucking thing. It costs so much fucking money, bro. $50,000 for 859. Jesus Christ. If you guys don't know, a 5090 at MSRP costs $2,000, right? So 2 times 8 is 16K. Okay, so 16K. So then we got the RAM. Oh, GPU RAM, that doesn't matter. Bandwidth, yada, yada, yada. I guess the linkage. CPU, I guess, would cost money. The RAM would definitely cost money. Disk size won't really cost too much money. Everything else is like... it's basically just like the CPU and the GPUs that cost money, and they're charging 50K for it. Jesus Christ. Oh, I guess the RAM, too. Buy one? Hell no, I don't got that money. What the fuck? Who's buying that shit, man? Oh my gosh. What's in the GPU in here? Let's see. So we got the CPU, memory, storage. Oh, they have the processors. Okay, I see. Got it. So they don't do... Interesting. Okay. So they don't use GPUs in here from the looks of it. I'm not buying one, bro. Are you crazy? Also, Grog. Yeah, I know Grog too. I know a couple of guys from there, I think. I've talked with a lot of the industry because I make fucking tabbies, so it's like people, for some reason, the industry fucking used my shit, and I'm like, bro, why are you using my hobby server, man? I don't know. It's like this random fucking, the random fucking thing I've got is just like, okay, sure, this random software I made, go ahead and use it. All right, whatever. Like, all right, man. Nowadays, I just use online anyway, so it's whatever. Man, this is nice, the quiet box. That's cool. The loud... These guys really named one thing the quiet box and one thing the loud box, bro. That's crazy. Oh my fucking god. That's awesome. I love that naming scheme. Currently, Civetized, Bombard with Christmas A. Of course it is. Tensor and Galaxy. Ooh. Massive stuff. Cloud. Oh, okay, it's the cloud server. This is what I know about the cloud services from Tensor, and this is what I know. Well, yeah, it's chill. It's neat. SF Compute Company. Yeah, I'll check it out. I have a little bit of time. Look at the prices. Sure. Am I going to be hurt again? H1. Oh God. No. Alright, what are we doing here? $1.45 per... Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. $1.45 per hour. I mean, you could train on these if you want to spend all your money. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're pretty cheap compared to fucking Run Pod. This is pretty cheap. Nice. Oop, I don't want to do that. Uh-oh. Nope, I'm good. Wait, what do they have? Oh, there's an H200. The fuck? What the hell? Excuse me? They have an H200? Excuse? What? Alright, let me look this up. Forgot what the H200 is. Is it a fucking... Yeah, it's this fucking huge ass thing. What the hell? Why do you got this? Do you like VMs? I do. I mean, yeah, I like virtual machines in the context of servers, sure. I'm not a big Docker fan personally, but virtual machines are nice. VPSs especially. And then running virtual machines on them. That's fun. I'm not a big virtual machine guy though. That's not my thing. But H200, I forgot the H200 is like this fucking massive ass fucking CPU. I think the E6000 Pro is the new one. Let's see. It's the B200. No, that's not it. Yeah. DGX B200. This fucking thing. This fucking fat ass thing, bruh. Look at the size of this. These are huge, man. I love how NVIDIA... Oh, this is Cloud Data. Okay, that's why. I'm trying to see, like, does NVIDIA still have gaming stuff on it? No. Dude, I remember NVIDIA... It's late for you? I'm just going to uni? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, it is late for me. I remember NVIDIA used to be, like, showing off gaming and stuff like that on this website. Now it's just this, man. They just completely rebranded themselves. There's no gaming stuff in sight. It's just gone. Oh my god. Graphics cards and GP. Oh my fucking god. Then we go to GeForce. And then we still have AI here. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, it completely just nuked everything about gaming here. Oh, I guess there's a few things here about gaming and creating. Google T. Oh yeah, I know about Google TPUs. I don't need to look at that. I know what that is. It's like the ASICs for AI. I've seen TPUs for so long. Man. They just completely reimagined their entire company, huh? I mean, you already know Mr. Jensen is saying that 90% of AI knowledge will be AI. Will be like, all right, sure, but 90% of knowledge will be AI generated, even though it's not true. You ship that in the Pixel and the trashing. Yeah, they are. Because Google made a shitty fucking chip that doesn't even run well, and that's why it sucks. The only good thing about Google Pixel is that's customizable to shit, because everybody is able to customize it. That's the only good thing about it. Everything else about... I used to own Pixel phones. And now I have an iPhone, so you kind of know where my priorities lie. Oh, Ironwood? Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought you were talking about the fucking smartphone. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, nevertheless. Yeah, I mean, it is getting kind of late. I'm down to a chat for a bit, but I'm probably going to end stream here because I am a bit tired. You know, long day today. Had an exam and shit. Next week will definitely be, like, next week, I don't know what the hell is going to be happening to me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. So, we'll play it by ear, right? Obviously, updates in the Discord, wherever those go. But yeah, don't leave yet. We'll find someone to raid. But the main thing, like, I hope you guys did... If you didn't see the main topic about AI and knowledge, I recommend you give the VOD a watch. The VOD's on YouTube and Twitch, so you should be able to see it there. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the stream. I know I did. I always enjoy talking and chatting with you guys. Oh yeah. So let me find someone to raid. Meanwhile, I'm just checking a few things. I apologize, guys. Let's see. Who do I find to raid today? Fuck it. We'll raid Stux. I like the guy. Go sleep and don't you scroll TikTok. I don't use TikTok, my friend. I use Twitter more often to fucking scroll through. Actually, I don't use TikTok at all. I tried TikTok for shorts, and it just did not take off for me. I like YouTube shorts a lot more. But yeah, so again, if you guys want to watch Stux, he's a cool programmer and stuff like that, we're gonna rate him. But again, I'm just gonna do my little outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. Streams every Friday or Saturday, depending on when I feel. Again, my stream day is best found on Discord, Twitter, whatever. And if you guys want to see my Discord, you can type that in the chat. If you want to see my socials, you can find them here. Drop me a follow, drop me a sub on YouTube. You can see all that stuff. And all the VODs are on YouTube. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week probably. All right, bye-bye. Thank you for saying goodbye. See ya.